one thing that you said that has stuck with me through a couple days of just kind of getting to know you through your work, and that is you can't change the world with fear. Tell me what that means.
Well, I think there's a lot of ways into that, but what I usually start with is there anything in your life that someone has scared you to do so much so that it leads to long-term behavior change? Not for me. When I initially started doing this work that has become my life's work by complete accident, I really looked to a couple of people as the people I wanted to model my journey off of. And the
Mm,
first and the most important was a woman named Gloria Steinem. And what I learned from her was really three key things. One is that stories have the power to change the world. Two, if you have the privilege to share your story, you better be able to use your platform to give it to someone who couldn't. But third, hope is human medicine and can move us from a place of fear or apathy into action. And I actually had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times. And a couple years ago, I sat in her living room and she looked at me, and I was still young, I think around 24, 25 years old. And she said, Lars, I don't know too much about this whole technology thing, but what I do know is you need to stop telling people to unplug and you need to start telling people to plug into life. And you need to really reframe how you're talking about this. And that planted a seed for me, and I started to zoom out and look at the world and see how do we manipulate people into behavior change, and it's really a lot of short-term transactional change driven by fear because fear fits our bottom line, especially in America. But when I started being on the ground with kids in communities that were already afraid of so many other things in their life, I realized that the real hope or medicine for our world was really empowerment, and it was positivity, and it was engaging, not in a way that disregards the truth and the pain of what we experience as humans, but really, to flip life on its head and think about what could be possible. And I think I realized, I could be a tiny star in a dark night that plays into the darkness, or I could say, I'm going to be a shooting star and I'm going to come in guns blazing in a world that's really dark, and I'm going to be that person. And I think once I made that decision, I started realizing how powerful it was when you sit with a young person and you say, well, what could we do if we used AI to design a neighborhood where everyone could be safe? What could we do if we don't have phones at school? And then the answers become screen free prom and friendship benches at lunch so that we can relearn how to connect with one another. And so I think I've just fallen in love with what does it mean to motivate through hope, quite frankly, because it's a lot more fun.